my name is Ann Pluta, and I'm an assistant professor in the Department of Political Science and Economics at Rowan University. I'm here to talk about methods in political science and give you a brief introduction to what that means. So when we think about political science, what does science really mean? It means that we think about problems systematically and with some transparency. So when we think about problems systematically, we start by finding out what's already out there. What does the literature say about this issue or question that you have in mind? What have other political scientists or historians, communication scholars, even journalists said about the problem that you're interested in studying? From there, we try to make some hypotheses. What do we think is going to happen in the situation in which we're interested in? And then we go about gathering data to test these hypotheses. Once we've done that, then we can proceed to making sure that we're transparent about all these parts of the process. And so in being transparent, we want to make sure that A, we're clear about where we got the data. So do we get it from a database like the National Archives, or do we get it from newspaper like the New York Times or Washington Post? And then we want to make sure that any data that we gather is readily available for people to observe, to look at, to check, to make sure that they would also get the same results or interpret the data in the same way. And so we can do that in a couple of ways. We can make it accessible through a website. We can make it available somehow where people can download the data if it's in Excel or something like that. Data comes in two forms. It can be either qualitative, which means words, or quantitative, which means numbers. And really the question that you're asking often guides what kind of data you need. If you're asking a question about voter registration, for example, you may want to go with quantitative data. You can gather information about voter turnout, demographics of those voters, and then actual results. And when we have quantitative data or we have numbers, we're often going to use statistical techniques like linear regression in order to analyze those data. And again, we want to be transparent about how we're going to analyze those data, so we make sure that whatever technique we use, we keep notes on how we do it and make that a part of our investigation and a part of the results so that someone could replicate that regression if they wanted to, or other technique that you may use. Qualitative data is words. So you may, for instance, use an interview for qualitative data. You may use content analysis of newspaper articles or some other kind of form of written record, whether it's diaries, biographies, etc. Again, we're going to be transparent. We're going to keep notes onto how we got that data and also how we decided to analyze it. What keywords did we use if we did a content analysis? Why did we choose those keywords? How did we make sure that we didn't miss any important documents or ideas within those documents? And so those are the two important things about methods in political science. One, that you're scientific, so you follow a process of looking at existing information or knowledge, building hypotheses upon that knowledge, and then testing those hypotheses in a formal way. Secondly, we want to be transparent. So we want to be transparent about where we get the information and how we use that and analyze that information, so that if someone wants to go about gathering that information and or analyzing it themselves, they can do so and they can replicate our findings. That's it for Introduction to Political Science Methods. Thanks for listening.